Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Kevin's Barbecue Joints, and I am quite excited to bring you this interview with Ernest Servantes from the Burt Bean Company in Seguin, Texas. Recently opened restaurant just at the end of October, early November. Ernest has been in the barbecue world. He's the Pope of barbecue. He's been around for 13 years, tons of TV appearances, competition circuit, underground scene, doing pop-ups recently, did underground because of COVID. Couldn't be more happy for him. The city of Seguin has embraced him. They're open Thursday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to sold out. On Sundays, they have a Mexican breakfast, so they're open at 8 a.m. He talks about a Friday night steakhouse thing he's going to be doing. He's also going to be doing these monthly dinners once the pandemic kind of eases. He's going to be doing these monthly dinners that are exclusive. It's just rad. It's really cool. He has these two mill scale pits, 1,000 each, with 23-foot long stacks. He's got a couple more pits coming, so that's when the steak stuff's coming. But it's definitely going to be a place that you're going to want to visit, a destination spot, because he's a trained chef. He has lots of interesting specials. I'm just super excited for him, and I'm glad he took some time to explain what's going on. Make sure you go check out the Burt Bean Company in Seguin, Texas. Kevin's Barbecue Joints podcast and YouTube show is brought to you by Treaty Oak Distilling. They're based out of Dripping Springs, Texas. They're treatyoakdistilling.com. It's also brought to you by Centex Smokers out of Luling, Texas. That's CENTEX_smokers on Instagram. Give them a follow, give them a DM, get a quote. They're at 4 to 5 months right now. Michael Johnson making these crate pits. Great lead time, great pricing. Check them out for sure. Centex Smokers. If you're digging these, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Don't want to miss out. Put lots of these. Trying to cover the entire barbecue world, all different facets. At the end, stay safe. Hope you enjoy this.
He painted that. His name is Buddy Paycheck. We call him Buddy Paycheck because every time he comes in here, he charges me a lot to paint.
That's awesome. I love when people have nicknames like that. Actually that sounds like something that would be like either part of a cartel or like an Italian mobster family in New Jersey.
Like if your name was Benny from the Bronx or something like that, but his name is Buddy.
That's awesome. Well, let's just start. Like, how are you doing today? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. We got briskets down. We don't open till tomorrow, so we got briskets going right now. We got about 100 pounds of sausage going, getting everything prepped up for tomorrow. And starting Thursday, we don't stop till Sunday. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're only open for 4 days," but technically, no, we're here every day because we make our own sausage, and it's a 3-day process. Prepping. The day before. You have to throw the briskets down the day before, so we really don't have a day off. What we do is on Mondays we kind of sleep in, and then we come in about 10, and then we work till about 6 o'clock at night, and and then that's it. But yeah.
I think that's important to say, because I think that people do think if you're open, say Wednesday or you're Thursday through Sunday, 4 days. So yeah, you got a great life. You're just rolling 3 days.
They're like, "Oh man, you got 3 days off, blah blah blah." I'm like, "No, dude, trust me. My partner and I have not had a day off in forever."
And you probably haven't had a lot of days off in general because you're a workaholic. You've always been dedicated. Well, what does it feel to have did it open November, or December?
Well, if you want to get technical, it was like October, the last week in October. Yeah. So we've been running 100 miles per hour since October. It's just gotten bigger and bigger, and we've been very blessed. We were trying to crank out some of the best cuisine you can get, as well as, making sure it's consistent. I think that's the key to everything in life is consistency.
Definitely.
People eat your barbecue and then they come back a week later thinking of that one rib or that one slice of brisket, and they want to eat it again and to nail it again. That's what brings people in the door.
And that's what the hardest thing is to do, is to keep it consistent. You
right.
have to stay dialed in. Now, but this is something you've wanted for a long time. How does it feel now, looking back, like, to the process? How long did it take you? How long was it built?
Well, I guess you could say it was 13 years in the making. I was telling people, hey, here's the situation. I'm a chef.
Yeah.
I've been in the restaurant business since I was a little kid because my grandma had a restaurant. So I know the ins and outs of what makes a successful restaurant, as well as what closes restaurants very quickly. Mm-hmm. So, I've opened and closed a lot of restaurants as a chef, but my dream was always to open my own barbecue joint. But the problem is one is that you have no capital. Mm-hmm. 2, you have no name. And 3, is your barbecue that good? Yeah. So I had a coming to Jesus meeting with myself, and I said, Ernest, can you open a restaurant right now and you'd be successful? And the reality was no. That was 13 years ago.
Years ago. Okay.
Yeah. I was like, okay, then what way would it be better and feasible and realistically to do it? And I said, well, let's go through the competition world, because one, I can practice and hone into my skills. Two, it's cheaper. And three, I can market my name and people would understand. So if I became successful competition cooker, that when I opened up my restaurant, I already had the name out there, like the Burnt Bean. People would know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So when we did that, we were very successful in the competition world. And, me being on television shows and everything else really, put a catalyst in my name. So my brand was already out there. So whenever I announced that I was going to open up, pop-ups, people, one, were just curious to see how my barbecue is
for sure.
TV, but yet then they saw the consistency and how good it was. So that made it a lot easier. It's a lot harder to open a lot of barbecue joints with what you can afford with and not having a name, and people won't know you for years.
Well, yeah,
so
you see all the guys that do that. And I talk to a lot of those guys, and you're friends with a lot of those guys, and they just and it works, but it, like you said, it takes a lot of time and you have to be dedicated. You've been in this world then for a long time, and you've seen what's worked and what hasn't worked too.
Right. Yeah, and then right when we opened up our pop-ups, that was a year and a half ago. We were cruising, and we were getting a cult following, and then COVID happened. So it's like shit. So we stopped, and we literally stopped in its tracks, and we had so much momentum going. And by then, we were starting to get everything ready for the restaurant. So I was, feeling sorry for myself, and my wife's like, why don't you do what your boys over there in California do and do those undergrounds like Bert and, Andrew and all them. Yeah. So
exactly.
I said, yeah. So I started putting it out there, undergrounds. And man, I think we were more successful at our undergrounds than we were at our pop-ups.
How funny is that?
We were selling food to the point where I had to get more barbecue pits at Barlum. So we were very, 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 very lucky. So when I think when the governor announced that you can start, selling again, we said, all right, let's do it. And we opened, and, the rest is history, man. We just really, got a following, and now our block, our lines are 2 blocks long, and,
so if people are just tuning in and they don't see the title of this, it's in Seguin, right?
Right. It's in Seguin, Texas.
What's Seguin like?
Seguin, I've worked here for 15 years. It's, I love Seguin because it really brings a lot of memories of my hometown. It's a small town. It's a big industrial town. I'm from a big ranching and farming community. This one's more of industrial. It's got a lot of big industrial places like Ziploc, Niagara Waters, Continental Tires, Motorola. It's got one of the largest steelmaker factories in America.
I didn't know this.
We have Caterpillar, the guys that build your tractors. So there's a lot of big industrial here. So it's a big industrial town. But I love it. I love Seguin. And, me being here for 15 years, I think that's helped out a lot, is that, I'm from New Braunfels, and I was going to open up over there, and Seguin's like not having it. They're like, you're ours, and we're going to support you. And they've come and got my back, and they supported me ever since I opened. So I've been very blessed.
What was your location before? What was that place? And when did you find it?
Well, the location before is pretty much the same building. So, the difference is that the bar that was here closed down, and we had the opportunity to take over. And
so it was a bar?
Over. Yeah.
With a kitchen maybe, or no? Or
no, it was very, it was, we kind of tweaked it here and there. Yeah, it had a little grill area, where eventually we kind of not necessarily gutted it out. We just
beautiful.
Redesigned it to what we wanted. We had this feel, and then we started bringing in all the stuff we needed, the equipment, and, working with the city and everything. So, now it's a cool barbecue joint, and it's hip, but yet, it kind of has that whole industrial look. And then it really matches my pits outside. We got the 2 mill scales outside.
Those mill scales are gorgeous with those stacks too. I'm sure the stacks are something people big. How tall are the stacks?
Well, I think they're 20. Well, from the hinge up, it's 18, but in total, I think it's 23 feet.
Okay.
So 23 feet of mill scale power.
Are those the tallest stacks that they've done?
I don't know, but everything's big in Texas, right?
Bigger go home. But what kind of pit did you have when you'd be cooking? Because you'd be cooking at night, right? Weren't you posting a lot of stuff like over the years?
Yeah, I've had so many pits. I've had over 30 pits, but the one that when we started our pop-ups was a 500-gallon East Texas smoker, and that's what kind of our claim to fame. It was Leonard's pit from Truth.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. That's cool. That's interesting. Let's talk about the menu, because I definitely don't want to miss it. And I've noticed too, like one of your photos from a while back, it stuck in my mind, were the carrots. Those carrots looked not that like this is a barbecue thing, but people like food.
Right.
And the tortillas look like they're so okay. Let's talk about the menu. And then you have
So I don't want to, there's so many great barbecue joints, and I always thought to myself, if I ever open up my place, I want to keep it simple, do the classics. I want to stick to my roots of Texas barbecue, which is, the Trinity, which is, sausage, rib, and brisket. And then we do turkey. And on the weekends we have, like big beef, spare ribs and stuff like that. But at the same time, I want to do something different. And so Sundays we do a like a Mexican themed breakfast, and we do smoked barbacoa, which is tatema. We do mollejas, and we do tripas and menudo. So and then on top of that, everything else. So that's what we do. But me being my culinary background, I love to throw specials. And, I find whatever's in season, whatever's, available, and I make specials. And so that's what kind of sets us apart as well, is that, we have our standard menu, but when you come in here, there's always a surprise. Like those baby carrots that you saw there, that were queso fresco, we smoked them, and then we, made a beef tallow butter, and then served it with toasted pepitas, which is pumpkin seeds. And, last week what we did was the huevo rancheros. I don't know if you saw that. We'll do chilaquiles, and those are just
chilaquiles. I was going to mention that because that's one of my favorite things too.
So we're doing a lot of fun stuff, but at the same time, keep it to basic stuff. But we always throw I always call it fine dining cuisine, but on a certain day. So, that's just the chef in me. I like to throw crazy stuff out there.
And right now, is that like down the road? Because right now you're open the kind of like a standard place, like till you sell out, right? But are you eventually going to do like a dinner thing at all, or is that?
We're gonna hopefully we're waiting on our pits. We got two pits being built right now. One's a box, and the other one's gonna be in a grill.
Wow.
Fridays we're gonna do the town kind of expresses what they want, because we don't have a steakhouse here in town, and I really don't think the town can afford, or there's not a restaurant that can afford to have a steakhouse open every day. So we thought to ourselves, hey, why don't we have our own built-in steakhouse here? Where we do, we're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna do T-bones and ribeyes and baked potato or mashed potatoes, and on a Friday night, they're mesquite grilled outside, on coals. It's not on gas or anything inside. So we're going to change this into I've seen a lot of the barbecue guys are selling like fajitas or burgers on Friday nights, or hot dogs. We're going to do steaks.
Nice.
And
that's cool. That's
So, and the community's excited because they actually can go to a steakhouse. They don't have to travel to San Antonio or Austin to have a great steak.
Yeah, that's nice for people to have, because like and what's funny is across the United States there's lots of small towns that don't have steakhouses, and like you said, it probably doesn't warrant for every day to be open, so it makes sense to have that option at your place. Well, then will Friday nights and Saturday nights probably be like your nights that you'll be open down the road? Like, will you be open on a Thursday night?
No, we'll be open on Friday nights, and then we're gonna try to do a monthly dinner. Once this COVID's over, we're going to do a monthly dinner party. Every Sunday night, we're going to do something really cool. It's going to be kind of one of those, if there's going to be 50 seats, and it's a couple thing, once you're in this dinner club, it's going to be hard to get out. But that's where I'm going to come and get collaborations with, other barbecue guys, with Miguel or, JQ Tacos, or, whoever wants to come and collaborate with me. We'll do some really fun stuff that people pay $100 a person, and it's exclusive. It's the coolest thing, and you should see our backyard. We got a really cool place, and then we can make it out there, and it's like once a month we do these collaborations, and it's going to be how do I get in there?
Oh, that's cool. How are you going to make it like available online, or are you going to make it like
No, it's an exclusive underground thing. You get a ticket. It's like literally, if you and your wife get a ticket, it's yours until you get up. Gotcha. If you pass that next month, then someone else gets a ticket. It's theirs forever. So it's one of those type of things. It's an exclusive club. You pay $100 a person, and we'll bring in different wine people. We'll be bringing different things like that. So
beer companies. You could bring in whiskey. That's a really cool idea. Yeah, lots of partnerships, but it also highlights the Texas companies or places that match what you're doing. Wow. Except when COVID hit and you had this place, were you worried? Like, what's your occupancy right now? 50% or?
Yeah, we only serving. Well, outside we have about enough people to serve about 100 people,
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
inside we only have 50 seats right now. So, but what's happening a lot is even though it's really cool inside, it's not as packed as I thought. But we're really busy. But everybody takes it to go.
Okay.
And then outside, a lot more people are outside because it's outside seating, so it gets more packed outside, which
So
is fine.
to go is an option for you if people are,
Yeah.
but they still have to. They can't order online. They have to wait in.
Right.
They have to queue
Right.
up in line. And it's
Right.
about what you're saying. It's about like an hour wait right now for some people. Is it?
Yeah. Some people about an hour wait. They were saying.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at
No,
all.
it's not bad. And not only that, I have a team that we've been practicing so much that we're cranking them out.
Are you open at 11?
Yeah, on Sundays at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, 8 o'clock till like 5.
Sell out. Yeah, about 3 o'clock.
Have you been selling out around 3?
Yeah. Well, Saturdays it's a little bit different. We have the pits loaded, and we'll sell about 2.
Okay.
And it's we got a lot of food, and it's like sometimes me and my partner were like, damn, I think we made too much food, and then 1:30 hits and we're like, damn, we didn't make enough food. It's one of those type of things. So
And you have 2,000 gallons, right?
yeah, and we bought them, and the reason I bought them is mill scale has such a long wait. We're like, screw it. Well, even if we just use one for right now, we already have the other one ready to go. So I didn't want to wait just in case. So we bought 2, and actually they're running right now as we speak, both on. And they don't stop. They start on Wednesday morning. They don't stop till Sunday, and they're loaded every day.
Wow. And I'll show pictures of that in the intro of this. So for people that might not know, because I knew the story for Burt Bean Company, how did that come about?
Long story short, it started off with my neighbor saying, dude, you got some of the best barbecue I ever had, and we were just, whatever. He's like, I'm gonna put you in a competition, and I was like, all right. Our first competition we get first place, and the rest was history. So, yeah. And then, that's how we got our name too, is that I was an executive chef at a restaurant, and one of my lady workers, she was from Mexico, and she's like, asking me in Spanish, what are you going to be doing? I said, well, we're going to cook brisket, ribs, chicken, and beans. And she goes, hey, in Spanish, vas a quemar los frijoles, which meant you're going to burn the beans. She goes, you don't even know how to cook beans. And I thought, oh, that's kind of a cool name. And I thought we were going to be called frijoles quemados, which is burnt beans. But I knew they were going to butcher that name if they didn't know how to speak Spanish. So we put the Burnt Bean Company instead, and the rest is.
Yeah, it's a really cool name, and it is something that probably people have no idea how you came up with that and how it associates with. But it does make sense, and it's really catchy. But also too, you also did someone call you the Pope of Barbecue, or is that something that you?
Yeah, well, that's the same lady. She used to call me that. She used to call me El Papa, the barbecue, because I used to just always bless her like that. She goes, "Who do you think you are, the Pope of Barbecue?" I'm like, "Oh, I like that."
That's smart.
So ever since then, it's stuck, and I've been called other names too, but I like that name, and ever since then they call me the Pope, man.
Wow, I've always loved that was, and I always wondered, and I've never asked you. I was gonna even DM you a long time ago. But that's so the competition circuit. How did you enjoy that time? And did you got like when you were on like it was like was John Marcus, was he the producer of that show? It was Pit Wars, right?
Yeah, I think John Marcus was the first one.
Okay, that was,
and then
after
Pitmaster, that. Yeah, the first Pitmaster. But when we got to the Pitmaster All-Stars, I think he already sold the name.
Okay.
And everything. But yeah, the first one I met him, and that was when Aaron Franklin was our judge, and I think Tuffy and
right? Yeah. What was that experience like? I was curious as to, because I just recently talked to Harry Sue, who won the very first one.
Yeah, it was okay because when I was on Pitmasters, I just got off of winning Chopped Grill Masters.
Oh yeah.
And so I won that one, and it was really cool. And then what happened was Pitmasters was filming in Dallas, but they were doing a Texas restaurant edition. So they were wanting a restaurant. So, well, I'm a competition cook. Well, I guess the guy one of the competitors called out like literally the week of filming, and they're like, "Who do we have that's nearby?" And they're like, "Hey, Ernest is nearby." And they asked me, I'm like, all right, I'll do it. And of course, who wouldn't want to do Pitmasters?
Yeah.
We watched that show. So, we did it. I went over there. And then when we started cooking and, we prepped and injected, they told us it's all about restaurant style barbecue. And I told my wife, I was like, yeah, we're done. And she goes, what do you mean we're done? I'm like, I said, we do competition. They're not going to want injections and all this stuff. And even though our food blew theirs out of the water, it wasn't traditional Texas barbecue. So that's why we came in second. But we knew we won, but it wasn't, barbecue joints don't inject, you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
and the way the way we presented it with burnt ends and all that stuff. So we knew we lost, but it was a lot of fun and great experience too.
Yeah, it's definitely and it's such a unique period in the barbecue world because those shows paved the way for so many people, but a lot of people too,
So
like nowadays might not even know.
think about it. It was about the last time they filmed was about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah,
And they got the new one called, like, what is it, Barbecue Brawl, and
yeah, they
Bobby Flay, and then that one that was on Netflix. I forgot which that was called too. I don't think it ever got a cult following like
mhm.
when Pitmasters 1 through 5 was just unreal. I
People
think it had
can
every barbecue in America, dude, and I was one of them.
yeah, yeah.
So
You're part
it
of
was
that
just,
history.
yeah. So it was really cool, and then to be asked to be on the show, and it was like really, to have that on my belt was really cool. But I t- I'll tell you one thing that the competition world has really brought me to is I met so many great people, and including yourself.
Yeah.
I've never met, I used to be in different types of things like bowling and stuff like that, but barbecue
It's
people are one of a
different.
kind.
Yeah.
And we get together, and when people get sick or something happens tragic, or their building burns down or something, we
Mhm.
all get together and just help each other out. And you will never find that. I don't know, I could be wrong, but the camaraderie in barbecue is unreal.
That's yeah, and barbecue heals. Barbecue's about love. It's and family and friendship.
It is.
It's really unique. I never and a lot of people that I am friends with that aren't in this world that don't know why I'm so attached to it and why it's
Right.
so important to me. It's like, why are you so into barbecue? I'm like, it's not just the food, it's the people. That's what it's about. It's the food's great, really great, but it's the camaraderie and it's the experience too. And like, look, your location, look how rad that look. Like going, you're to become a destination. That's how cool is that?
That's
That you
really cool.
and I'm really proud of you. And I was excited about your place. And then once I started to see the food, and I'll show photos of the food in the intro, you're dialed in. Like it looks, and you're not probably even close in your mind to where you want to be. You'll be
Right.
a year from now. Imagine how. And did you make scratch made tortillas, or are you getting your tortillas
Yes.
from? Okay.
No, we make, well, now we see, when I used to do my undergrounds, I literally would make the tortillas in front of you on a flat top. I would
Wow.
make my corn, and I would make my homemade flour. We'd have the balls right there, and
Oh, that's
we'd press it out so you can have fresh stuff. Well, now we're selling 600 tortillas on Sunday alone. So it's like I got a lady making them for me now. You know what I
smart.
mean?
No, that's smart.
So we've just grown so much, but a lot of people are like, you're so, like you said, dialed in where you should be for just being open for so much. But you got to realize one thing: I've been waiting all my life for this opportunity,
True.
and I was ready. So when we opened the doors, we, like you said, we're running about 60%. I haven't even hit, fifth gear
Yeah.
yet, but where we're at, we're pretty solid, but we're going to get better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're not competing against anybody else. We're not trying to aim for any kind of titles or things. I want to fulfill a dream, and I want to have something that Seguin, Texas is proud of.
Yeah.
And and that's what I'm here for. All the other accolades and things like that, that's just the icing, or the cherry on top. But everything
Yeah.
else I've done here, I've done it for the community, I've done it for myself, and to represent and to create a legacy for my kids.
Yeah, legacy. I'm saying that. Yeah, you want to be able to. I want to talk to you 5 years from now, and well, hopefully it'll be in person,
Right.
not in this weird batch thing that I'm doing. But
Yeah.
but at least it's really cool. And I want to talk. Like, I want to end it too on brisket cartel. A lot of people have seen the brisket hats and like that, like the one you're wearing. What's the deal with that? I know what it is, but what is the deal?
The cartel was something that me and Hondo came up with.
He's California, right? Isn't he in?
Hondo's in California,
Yeah.
and it was one of those type of things that we wanted to make a group of guys that are the baddest dudes of America and around the world, that are the best in brisket, not ribs, not chicken, not pork butt, not whole shoulder or whole hog, brisket.
Yeah.
And some of the criteria is one of them was your brisket had to be like crazy good.
Mm-hmm.
Two, you had to be self-made. And what we meant by self-made was you didn't come around from another, your father created the barbecue joint, it was just you. So we started, and we have, we're very small. We're only about 15 or 16 around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And, but the guys that are on the cartel are some of the best.
Yeah, definitely.
And,
Yeah.
we, and it's really cool, and they represent us as well. But what's funny is that, me being part of the capo of the cartel, which is, one of the main godfathers, I was thinking to myself, I was very comfortable in my barbecue brisket in competition. I'm like, wait, I'm now in the restaurant industry. I said, my goddamn brisket better be some of the best. And, it got to the point where I, had a bunch of barbecue guys. I said, that'd be kind of sad if, the guy
Oh,
from
that'd
the
be
cartel can't even throw out good brisket. So that was the one thing I made. But yeah, we had, Durney over there in New York. We got, Moosecraft, and we got Bert over there in California. We also got Heritage Barbecue. We got Leonard on our team from Truth. We have 2M Smokehouse, Saul. We got so many cool cats that are, and then not counting all the competition guys as well.
Yeah.
But we got some BMFs, and it was kind of funny because we laughed it out because I don't know if you ever saw Barbecue Grill Masters that Leonard was on and Saul was on.
Oh yeah.
Okay. The Texas edition. It's funny because it was like the lady's like, so do y'all know each other? And we're like, no, I kind of know of them because think about it. I'm the judge, which I'm on the main brisket cartel, and the two guys that end up in the finals are brisket cartel
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Coincidence? I don't know. Maybe not. But it was kind of cool to have 3 of the brisket cartel on the
That's huge.
last year. So
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
and it's also 3 great guys. But it would be fun to have a night at your restaurant with all those guys too. That would be
that would be really, really. That would be the ultimate thing. And maybe after this COVID, we could talk.
Yeah, like in the fall.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to have everybody here and have a little party.
Yeah.
Kind of like maybe Lerma can, because Lerma's easy in the cartel too. Have Lerma come out here and throw the party.
Yeah, he's pretty good at throwing parties.
Yeah.
He's definitely he's like the
Yeah.
master at that. Well, I'm so proud of you. Let's talk. Let's say again, like what are the best ways to get a hold of you, and what are the hours?
The hours are Thursday through Sunday from 11 to 3 or to sell out. We're out here in Seguin, Texas at 108 South Austin Street. And then you can get a hold of me on the Instagram at the Popa Barbecue or on the Burnt Bean on Facebook.
And then you right now for the website it goes to Facebook, right? And then you have the menu. You have menus on.
Yeah, they're on the menus on there. Yeah, they're on there. Yeah, and it's simple barbecue, and we sell by the pound, and that's pretty much it, man.
For the specials, you have to come to find out. You don't post them.
I'll post them. Okay. Like the day of, but usually the specials you have to come in here. That's the only reason I put them on there, so you can come. So you can be curious.
Well, you should come anyways. Like it's not like it's you don't need to you should get your face out of the phone and go and eat good barbecue. And so again, I'm proud of you. That's Ernest. This is so great. Thanks for taking the time. And